Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is July 30th, 2021. This is episode 379. Today we're looking at The Blue Flame and The Blue Flame. This is issue number 2. This is issue number 3. Coming out from Vault Comics. I'm doing a double header. I got so many comics to get through this week that I ended up decided to do 2 at once, and I'm going to do this again because this one the shop owner did not put me on the pull list for this one, and I missed it. Apparently I missed issue 2 when it came out, so when issue 3 came out, I went back and got the second one, and I got one more to do like this. It's Lighthouse, and I just got on that series late, so I have a 3 and 4 to do for that one as well coming up sometime in the next couple days. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the Blue Flame. I really liked the first issue, that's why I'm hanging on to this. We got a cover, obviously it's got Blue Flame on both covers here, and also a crippled Sam in here too, and we'll get into this. We'll don't worry, we'll get into it. So both covers, they're fine. This one's I think I actually like this one a lot, just because of the superimposed cripple in the middle there, and the way the A and his head kind of comes in together on it. I just think that's a really nice design. And this one's just kind of standard fare, nothing too spectacular. Okay, so there we got the covers out of the way. Let's take a look to see who worked on these books. Christopher Cantwell was the writer. Adam Gorham is the artist. Kurt Michael Russell is the colorist. And Hassan Otsmane-Elhaou is the letterer. And I apologize if I said that incorrectly. It's Chapter 2, The Celestial Bargain. Okay, and you can actually do a scan here to get a QR scan there to hear a soundtrack musical piece. And I did that one. I should have it playing in the background. That would be kind of cool, but I don't really have good speakers set up for that. But it's okay. It's an okay soundtrack. But our story ended last time with Sam, and I'm trying to think what his name is. Sam's, well, this is his sister, Dee, and she was introduced, but not really introduced in the first issue. Sam Brosm is the name, is the Blue Flame. So we ended last issue with his group, the Night Brigade, vigilantes in Milwaukee, no less, were helping out at an auto show. They were kind of like the guests, so people could get autographs with the Night Brigade. Well, a shooter showed up and ambushed them and a lot of other people before he took his own life. Sam was the only survivor of the 5, and he was in a coma at the, well, we'll find out. In this one, he's in a coma now. That's kind of the way they left it. But his mental state, or you want to say his consciousness, or perhaps his soul, has gone off into the cosmics, and he has landed on a planet called Exilus, and met up with an alien there named Yarix. And it turns out that Sam is the chosen one, meaning that he has to plead for Earth not being destroyed, wiped out by these alien beings that are kind of celestials in their own right, I guess. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So that's where the last issue ended. So in this one, we find out that his sister Dee is pregnant. She's struggling financially with her husband, Matteo, and they're actually living in some kind of like almost squalor, I would say. So she eats like a donut and coffee for breakfast. Then she goes off to work her cooking job at some, I don't know if it's a hospital or where it is exactly. They don't really mention. Maybe it's just a cafeteria somewhere. And this is where she learns more about the shooting that just happened the night before. Everybody's very upset about it, obviously, when these things happen. A number of people were shot down, I think like 21 altogether. And so actually looks like she's a clerk, maybe at a grocery store, I'm sorry. So she's just kind of going through her day. At this point, she doesn't know her brother has been injured, or he's one of the ones that assumed to be dead. So then we get Blue Flame, or Sam. He is in a cell, a holding pen on this, and this, I believe it's like his subconscious or soul or something like that. He's out in the cosmos somewhere. And this is where he finds out more about what he's supposed to do. Now, this issue does not have a lot of action, and in fact, it has very little action. They show him earlier. He landed on the planet and tried to run through a force field and was knocked out. And I think there's like a car driving and a rocket ship taking off. And that's all the action in this issue. It is more just kind of explanation. He meets Yarix, who tells him that, you're here. Earth is not doing so good. They've been on probation. And if you can't give us reasons why we shouldn't keep them unharmed, we are going to destroy the planet and not even destroy the humanity, just destroy the whole planet, because they don't want the humans coming back again, since they are considered a failed race. So it's all this cosmic talk. He's shown around, and then we have the switch back to Dee, and she meets up with her husband Mateo at home. And this is where they find out, they have a small apartment. This is where they find out that the Night Brigade has been killed, and they announce who it is. And this is where Dee finds out that her brother is actually dead. But then he's not really dead. It turns out that he actually survived, but he's in a coma. Meanwhile, we go back to Exilus, and the records keeper there showed him all the different records for the different universe. They get to where Earth is, and all there is just 4 small boxes. And this is what Sam has to build the case on. It's just these 4 boxes of information. And each box contains these disks of data. So they have just figured out that Sam's at a hospital. He's in a coma. They're racing to get there. They see him. He's badly beaten up, shot up a bit. They think he'll survive. They do not know if he'll walk again, though, and they don't know when he'll wake up. So this is kind of the things that data disks that Sam is looking at on Exilus, and one of them shows one of the Apollo rockets taking off, and there's a boy there. This is supposed to play, like let him know that this boy disappeared and no one came looking for him. And then he flashes back to the auto show where he sees his own self dead, or in a coma, I guess, shot badly, dying. So he's kind of living through these flashbacks through these cubes. And then he has the image of him seeing himself in a coma. And this is how we end issue 2. So not a lot went on. It was all kind of explanation and talk. But it was still engrossing enough that I'm going to stick with it. And since I bought issue 3 anyway, I'm going to stick with it. This will get the good excavating seal of approval. Now, this one doesn't have much more action, actually. It just kind of shows that 7 months later, and he is now on crutches. He has awoken. He's taking painkillers, and his routine for the day is he gets up, argues with his sister, who's now 7 months pregnant, apparently. He has a little girl in there. And just high tension. Mateo and Dee have moved into Sam's home just to be able to take care of him better, and also just give more space with the kid and all. And so they're all kind of on each other's nerves all the time. Meanwhile, we get the flashback, or not really a flashback, but to his other other mental consciousness out in the cosmos. He's taken some time out just to explore. They've given him a little bit of rain to go check out other planets and whatnot. And he's just in awe of the beauty of it. He finds one planet that he wants to go to because it reminds him of Hawaii. So he heads off for that. Meanwhile, his physical self stumbles to Lou's bar, which I guess he's very much a regular there. Here he meets up, unbeknownst to him, with a reporter who says she comes here every day as well. She wants the story about the Night Brigade. She wants to do a piece for her newspaper. And so they have a little discussion back and forth. And we never really find out if he divulges much information to her at this point, because now we're back on this planet that he has gone to just to get a little rest, just to clear his mind. He's been working on the case for 7 months now, as far as physical Earth time, and he just needs another, just to recharge his batteries. Well, apparently he has wandered out of where he was supposed to be, and Yarick shows up, starts scolding him, talking about we should maybe just kill you now. Suddenly they hear a cry in the background, and they all go off to see who it is, and maybe they can help. And yes, there seems to be two tribes, or a girl from one tribe, and then these other tribe here attacking her for whatever reason. So they come in and they save the girl, and just argue a little bit more. And this is when Yarick tells his own story, that his planet was destroyed by the Celestials because they were considered cowards, and he doesn't know why they let him live. So then we're back in Milwaukee. They're waiting for, Dee's up waiting for Sam to get home from Lou's bar, and he shows up. Of course, they break out into another argument again, and he falls over. He's so drunk, and they kind of just keep saying they're sorry to each other at this point. To be continued. So we've got a physical self that's very, very crippled, very just struggling to, because he was this vital, strong person, and suddenly now he can barely walk, and trying to put his life back together. And then we've got the subconscious or soul or consciousness in outer space pleading for all the lives of Earth. So it's kind of an interesting twist on it. So yeah, I'm liking it. Okay, so let's quickly look at what else Vault's got going on. Finger Guns, the trade paperback, Volume 1 is in stores now. Comfortable teen feeling, so much chaos. Then we have Bleed Them Dry, a ninja vampire tale, also a trade paperback. The complete series for I Walk with Monsters, that is also a trade. The first trade of Vampire: The Last Masquerade, issues 1 through 5, is out now as well. I think I just, this month, I think I did issue 9 as a review. I'm really liking this story. Very, very good vampire story. The Autumnal, this complete series, is also out on trade paperback. And Sarah, the Royal Stars, looks like trade paperbacks, 2 volumes of that. Next issue for Blue Flame, there you go. Very interesting cover. And then we also got a nice synopsis for what is going on in this issue. So that's really something nice that Vault is doing on these issues. They did it on this one as well. So kind of gives you a roundup of what you read, and which is nice because it's not always that clear. So these guys have earned the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval, given out only by Indie Comics Jones on this particular channel. Woo! Except no substitutes. Hey, thanks for stopping by and watching this review. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't, and please leave comments. We'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. More stuff to come. Oh my God, I got so much to do this week. As always, this is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.